Hey guys, and welcome back to Heroes of Might and Magic 4. As always, I'm DemonFire93, and last time we started the Amelia Nighthaven's part of the campaign here, where we're working with the magic order, order magic, that's it. Yes. So soon after Amelia is named Queen of the Great Arcan, she must defend her country against an invasion led by Solymr, servant of the Immortal King. But Solymr isn't a normal opponent. He is wise and honorable, and performs his duty almost reluctantly, as if he would rather be friends than enemies. Victory, defeat Solymr. Loss, lose Amelia. Amelia Nighthaven and General Tharge and all their spells, experience, and skills will carry over to a later map. All of your heroes have a maximum level of 20.
What made Amelia Nighthaven a great queen and an outstanding woman?
Who just became a queen.
Absence of hate in her heart.
Sure.
It was her nature to give everyone a fair chance, even an enemy.
And trial.
To put aside those natural feelings of revenge and treat an invader with justice and later trust. That takes a rare person.
And that's why we didn't learn life magic, because as it says, nature, or nature magic, you know, to put aside those natural nature magic. After my victory over the robber barons, I thought I would get a chance to return to a normal life. But I couldn't have been more wrong. We realized at the end of our campaign that our communities had to stand together if we had any hope of survival. So the leaders of these towns gathered to discuss a common stance. They decided to form a kingdom of order and justice, as I proposed, and since it was my idea in the first place, and I had already proved myself trustworthy, they chose me to lead this new country. As the dwarf Tharge explained, "You're the only real leader they've had since the Reckoning. Did you really expect them to trust someone else?" I think I was too shocked to realize that I could have refused. Before I knew it, I was the queen of a small country with the grand name of Great Arcan, and they gave me a new name too, Amelia Nighthaven, because apparently they felt that I alone was a source of safety and order when all was dark. It wasn't supposed to happen like that, was it? For someone like me to become a queen? I should have been as beautiful as I was poor, and as wise as I was bold. I was none of these things, except destitute. And what about the charming prince? If this was a child's fairy tale, it was a bad one. But here I was, Queen Amelia Nighthaven of Great Arcan. As much as it frightened me, this was no story. This was real. Right. Ah, here's Tharge. Okay. So the thing is with the Altar of Wishes, is we get another range unit. If we get the Gold Pavilion, the damn Magis can never get their fucking shit out of the... They can never get out of the background. So maybe we go with, oh god. Queen? Even after 3 months, I'm still not used to people calling me queen. The word sounds strange to my ears, so it took a few moments for me to realize that the voice coming from the tree was calling me. Queen? I looked up from my new garden, a hobby I took up recently in an attempt to relieve the stress of organizing a kingdom and its rules from scratch. Resting on one of the lowest branches of an apple tree was a brilliant blue parrot. "You are Queen of Great Arcan, are you not?" the parrot said. At first I thought someone had taught the clever bird to speak like that, but then I noticed a keen intelligence behind its dark eyes. This is no ordinary parrot. "Yes, I'm Amelia Nighthaven," I said. "Allow me to introduce myself," the parrot said, tipping its head in a sort of bow. "I am Solymr ibn Wali Barad, the loyal servant of the Immortal King, Gavin Magnus of Bracada. Do you know of whom I speak?" "I know him, sure. Everyone has heard of the Immortal King of Bracada." "Good, then you will understand the weight behind my message. I mean no disrespect, my lady, but you have neither the blood nor the experience to lead a kingdom." What? Even though a large part of me felt this bird was correct, his words still hurt. Was it so impossible to believe that a glassblower's servant could become queen? "My master sent me here to deliver an offer. He appreciates your efforts to rid this land of ruffians and organize the refugees of the old kingdoms destroyed by the Reckoning, including those from his own Bracada. Rest assured that you will not go without reward, but you must recognize that King Magnus is the logical choice to sit on the throne of our Great Arcan," Solymr said. My breath caught in my throat. This was no offer, it was a threat. Not only that, but it came from the legendary Immortal King. The only response I could think of at the moment was a silly defensive one. Great Arcan doesn't even have a throne yet, I said. Could anyone be less qualified to be the queen? Nevertheless, if you surrender your forces to me now, King Magnus will make you his new wife, and you may sit by his side, that is, after he builds a throne. Finally, my anger fought its way through my shock. The nerve of him. Not only was Magnus assuming that I would hand over Great Arcan, but that I would marry him too, the arrogance. I bent over to grab a clump of weeds I had dug up from the garden earlier. I threw the clod of dirt at the parrot, but it flew away in time to avoid the blow. Fly back to your master, I shouted, and tell him I wouldn't marry him if he was the last man alive. As for Great Arcan, tell Magnus that he didn't prove himself such a wonderful leader in the last world, so why should anyone believe he can do better here? The parrot circled overhead, silent for a moment. Then I will return to the army that awaits me on Arcan's eastern border, and I shall look forward to meeting you on the battlefield, my queen. Cool. Great. Even. So that's the thing that we've now got going on for us. When I woke this morning, I found a letter resting at my feet. At first, I jumped up and looked around, expecting to find someone in the tent. All was quiet. Outside, the camp was slowly coming to life. I reached for the letter. The blue wax seal was in the shape of a parrot. Throwing caution to the wind, I snapped it open and unfurled the paper within to find a message written in bright blue ink with such flourish that it resembled a painting. Amelia Nighthaven. First, I want you to know that I delivered this message myself, and although I stood over your lovely sleeping form and watched you dream, you were never in any danger. That is not my style. Enemies often become closer to one another than any man and wife, so I hope that you will come to know the truth of my character, and I look forward to learning yours. I respect your refusal to step down as Queen of Great Arcan. It shows tremendous courage, but I feel it is my duty to extend my master's offer to you once again. Please let us avoid the killing. Hand over your army, and you will still be part of the country you helped create. Your name will certainly go down in history. I am a student of history, you know, and the woman behind the throne has often been more powerful than the king who sat on it. Why do you resist? Why do you fight? I have seen your face late at night, when you think you are alone, and in it I have seen doubt, anguish, and fear. You know you don't want to be queen, so why not let Great Arcan be led by one who not only knows how to lead, but enjoys it. So long, and I hope we never have to meet on the battlefield. Solymr ibn Wali Barad. As gracious and pleading as Solymr's letter seemed, I realized it was also a cleverly disguised attack. It was simultaneously an assault on my confidence and an appeal to my lust for power. But Solymr didn't know me as well as he thought. I don't care about power. All I want is a place to call home and peace. You hear some screams up ahead and immediately rush forward to find a group of farmers being manhandled by a large group of minotaurs. The farmers have no chance unless you intervene, so you give the order to attack. I let them run. Only when the minotaurs are dead do the farmers come out from hiding. These thin, ragged people approach you to fall to their knees with tears in their eyes. Thank you, you've saved our lives, they say. What did those creatures want with you, you ask? We're runaways, one of them said. The farmer explains that they were once slaves to the king of Minotaurs, and that if any of them tried to escape, they were immediately put to death. When you ask where the king of Minotaur, or the Minotaur king, can be found, they tell you the only way to reach his land is through a tower guarded by Medusas. So far, no one has been able to get past it, and even worse, our families and friends are still back there, slaves to their cruel master. These people must be helped. Aye. Surely. My word. So many. The quartermaster came to me first thing this morning to complain about my low supply of feed for the horses. Then the goldmaster approached to complain we were marching too quickly. Soon after that, the captain of the halflings stated we were marching too slowly. By the time Tharge demanded an increase in the amount of training for the troops, I had had enough. I don't care, I shouted at the dwarf. You are my military advisor, Tharge. Do what you think is best. Just don't bother me with every little detail. I stormed off to be alone, immediately embarrassed about my outburst. I was queen. It was my responsibility to solve these problems, but that didn't mean I had to like it. Solymr was right about one thing. It was ridiculous to think that the daughter of a glassblower could be a good queen. Sure. A fog billows around you, and before long you realize you're alone. You call out, but no one answers. Finally, you spot a dark shape amid the thick haze. You approach to find a quaint hut with a large hearth with a large man standing at the door. Or is he a knight? He's wearing a remarkable suit of plate armor. Every piece has been crafted to perfection, so the entire suit appears to have been masterfully sculpted from a single piece of metal and polished to mirror-like sheen. For the first time, you're thankful for the presence of the dense fog, because if the sun were to shine on that armor, it could blind you. Greetings, knight, you call over. Not a knight, but an armorer. Even though his head is concealed beneath the ornate helm, you can hear his voice as if he were standing right next to you. My life has been spent crafting this armor of order, says the armor, and it is meant only for one who can prove to me they are a good leader. Return here when you have defeated the asylum towns to the south. Soon the fog rolls away and you are no longer alone. Did you dream it all? I don't know. Alright, so that happened. Asylum towns, huh? Instead of facing the Minotaur King's troops in battle and risking the lives of my own soldiers, I sent a small group of halflings and dwarves to sneak into the Minotaur's land and free the farmers. It seemed like a good idea at the time. In fact, I had been rather proud of myself for finding a way to avoid a big battle. That's what a good queen should do, right, isn't it? But this morning I received news that my rescue team was captured and executed. 20 lives wiped out because I made a mistake. It was a nice try, Tharge said to break the silence that had fallen over my tent. No, it was a foolish one, I blurted out. I reached up to the simple circlet of silver I wore while I traveled and removed it from my head. So now we hit this Minotaur King with everything we got, Tharge said. No. I stood, dropped the crown at the dwarf's feet. I won't do it anymore. This farce has gone on long enough. Find someone else to be queen. I won't do it. I stormed from my tent, ignoring Tharge's protest, and mounted the nearest horse. I rode away alone, intent on putting all this horror behind me forever. Later, when I stopped to rest my horse, I spotted a blue parrot perched on one of the nearby trees. Come to gloat, Solymr, I said. That, too, is not my style, the parrot said. I've come to ease your mind a little. Nice of you. Now go away. I swear to you, Amelia, that I will deal with the Minotaur King myself. Those farmers should not suffer like this. Your enemy I may be, but I still respect decency, and that Minotaur is far from it, Solymr said. The parrot took to the air again, disappearing into the blue sky. But as it did, I thought of my enemy's words. Solymr was right. Being queen wasn't about leading armies or conquering your enemy. It was about protecting those that couldn't protect themselves. It was about decency. That's how this all began in the first place. And perhaps Solymr could defeat the Minotaur King and rescue those people, but he was still too far away. I was much closer, and as the Queen of Great Arcan, it was my responsibility, not his. Okay. So you're saying I shouldn't send a band of peasants? Once again, I'm going to war. One of the promises to be far more challenging than the last. Or one that promises to be far more challenging than last. I actually considered appointing my military advisor Tharge to lead Great Arcan's army. After all, he has much more experience than I, but when I suggested it to him, he frowned at me. If there's one thing I know, men are far more willing to die for a leader who stands among them than one who stays far behind, Tharge had said. Those words stuck with me. I didn't want anyone dying for me, whether I was there or not. Like it or not, Great Arcan and its people were my responsibility now. I could have turned them down when they named me queen, but I didn't have the courage. Or perhaps I secretly liked the attention. What girl wouldn't? I mean, a normal girl who doesn't want to fight. But, you know, that's just me. That's my opinion. You know, whatever. Ta-da! They're all dead. Or, dead. Dead again? They've been killed a second time. Why can't I take this fucking... mine? Let them run. But of course... You make several attempts to approach the tower, but you are repelled each time by some Medusa guards throwing large rocks from the parapet. A chill travels down your spine when you realize the rocks are actually the petrified bodies of those who tried to siege this tower before. Something must be done. Then an idea occurs to you. Would these Medusas attack their own kind? If you get some Medusas up to the gate, maybe then you could take the tower. Okay, random. Only one who rules Solington can pass through these gates. Okay. The fuck Solington? Bad news keeps coming from the eastern border. Solymr has a strong army and it's amazingly well organized. I've heard of that Solymr, Tharge told me this morning. He's a terrible leader, I hope, I responded. Tharge grunted and shook his head. Just the opposite. He's got a good mind for strategy, and to top it off, he's a powerful enchanter as well. He's a genie, you know. Tharge said, no, I didn't. The only time I saw him, he was a parrot. One of his many shapes, I think. Solymr has been at the Immortal King's side for centuries, even since Magnus saved his life. Some say that without Solymr, Gavin Magnus would have lost the throne of Bracada long ago. That's your enemy. Can we beat him? I asked. Sure we can. Everyone loses sooner or later, he said. That's a pessimistic way of looking at things. No, it's realistic. Then I'm bound to lose too, I pointed out. Sooner or later. It's my job to make sure it's later. That's comforting. So do you know how we're going to beat him, I asked. Not yet. Okay. You make several attempts to approach the tower, but you're repelled each time. Something must be done. Yep. Medusas. Okay, but there are Medusas behind the gate. So, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh boy. A messenger from Solymr arrived asking for a parley before our two armies meet. Although Tharge was suspicious of the offer I accepted, I knew by now that Solymr wouldn't dare betray me, as he was so fond of saying it wasn't his style. So, with Tharge and one of my best mages at my side, I made my way to the top of a nearby hill. Solymr was waiting alone. This was the first time I had seen him in his true shape. He stood taller than a man, handsome in his fancy white robe. His skin was every bit as bright as the feathers of his parrot form, and his hair was as black as tar. I am pleased that you decided to come, Queen Emilia, he said, bowing slightly. It's good to finally see your true form, I said cordially. Ah, the shapes we see with our eyes are merely illusions. Our true form cannot be seen except in our actions and in the truth of our words. Do you know that? I do, I said. Yes, that is why I have known since the first time I saw you that we would one day meet in battle. Nothing would make you abandon Great Arcan. Believe me when I say that it brings a tremendous sadness to my heart, Solymr said. Why? Because I like you, Queen Emilia Nighthaven. You lack confidence in yourself, even though your heart possesses a great thirst for justice. A humble queen. Who would have thought it possible? I think I like Solymr as well. Surprisingly, I trust him more than most of my own troops. You're all talk, Solymr, Tharge interrupted. You proclaim such great sadness as your army continues to march toward us. That is true, Solymr responded with a hint of regret. It is his duty, Tharge, just as protecting Great Arcan is ours, I spoke for my enemy. Then to Solymr I said, is there any way that we can both fulfill our duties without going to battle? Sadly, I think not. My master has ordered me to capture you, Queen Amelia. I can do no less, Solymr admitted. Then what's the point of this parley? Tharge asked angrily. I don't think the dwarf shared my respect for Solymr, but I wondered if he would feel differently if he knew it was Solymr himself who convinced me to return to the throne of Great Arcan. The point, Solymr said, is to set some rules and to give you one more chance to surrender, Queen Amelia. You could always surrender to me, I suggested. Solymr chuckled at the thought and said, I have no choice, unfortunately. We shall meet in battle at the earliest opportunity. I will ask that we respect the lives of our troops, no unnecessary killing, and if someone asks for mercy, it shall be given freely. Do you agree? Of course, I said before Tharge had a chance to speak up. Sometimes a queen had to make decisions on her own. Good luck to you and your army, Queen Amelia Nighthaven, Solymr said with a deep bow, and good luck to you and yours, Solymr ibn Wali Barad.